to Ukraine. And now tonight, President Zelensky calling that Oval Office meeting, quote, regrettable, saying he's ready to work on a peace deal. So let's get right to Martha Raddatz with me here in the studio tonight. And Martha, President Zelensky also offering praise about President Trump in this statement. It's very clear that Zelensky thought these are words that President Trump needs to hear.
He was clearly speaking right to President Trump because losing that aid is a gut punch for President Zelensky. And if that lasted for several months, it would have a profound effect on the war. So tonight he is heaping praise on the U.S., saying on X how thankful he is for American support, singling out President Trump for sending Javelin missiles to Ukraine in his first term, and adding our meeting at the White House on Friday did not go the way it was supposed to. It is regrettable that it happened this way. It is time to make things right. Again, stressing his gratitude to President Trump and saying Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible. He also said he's willing to finalize that mineral deal that they tried to do last Friday. We'll see if it's enough for President Trump.
And we'll see if the president reveals any news on that tonight in the address to the American people. Martha, thank you. Martha will be here as well, along with our entire political team. That's tonight, the presidential address to Congress and the nation, a joint session of Congress tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on ABC. It'll be live coverage. And, of course, we will all see you then. In the meantime, we move on to the other news this Tuesday night in this massive cross-country storm. 100 million Americans on alert right now. Blinding snow and rain. And tonight, at least 3 confirmed tornadoes already. The storm heading to the East Coast next. Washington, D.C. to New York to Boston. Already striking in Texas and putting celebrations in New Orleans on hold tonight. A confirmed EF1 tornado with 105-mile-per-hour winds ripping the roof off an elementary school. This is Ada, Oklahoma right here. A warehouse ripped to shreds in Louisville, Texas, near Dallas, damaging every truck there in the parking lot. High winds rocking traffic lights near Lake Charles, Louisiana. Severe storms bearing down on New Orleans during Mardi Gras. Lee Goldberg has the forecast and Victor Oquendo in the storm zone tonight.
Tonight, rain, wind, and lightning. Violent storms hammering the south as a massive multi-day severe weather outbreak erupts in the heartland. Sirens blaring before dawn in North Texas. Power flashes, high winds, and heavy rain quickly inundating freeways around Dallas during the morning commute. Natalie Haddad from our Dallas affiliate WFAA reporting from Plano, a transformer blowing mid-live shot.
Look at these winds. Check out this rain. This is what we're seeing. Oh, holy. We okay? We're safe.
In North Lake, first responders pulling a driver from a flipped truck. Luckily, no serious injuries there. Northwest of Dallas, daybreak revealing utter devastation in Louisville. Water pouring from the side of this warehouse. Multiple tractor trailers and other vehicles crushed. Debris everywhere.
I'm just glad nobody was in there. It's crazy. Whole building gone.
An EF1 tornado with 110-mile-an-hour winds striking this apartment complex in Irving. Southeast of Oklahoma City, a confirmed tornado with 105-mile-an-hour winds touching down in the town of Ada, ripping the roof off of Willard Elementary School. Not far from there, Emily Quigley, thankful she's okay after her apartment got hit.
The wind is what originally woke me up. Before the phone went off and the sirens went off, the wind was just beating on the windows.
And in southern New Mexico, dust storms blinded drivers Monday and caused multiple accidents. David, the wind is starting to pick up here on Canal Street in New Orleans. It's Mardi Gras. The French Quarter is still packed, and there is serious concern over the next few hours as the system races toward the East Coast. David?
All right, Victor Oquendo tonight. Victor, thank you. Let's get right to WABC Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg. And Lee, this storm is massive.
Indeed, David. I mean, from the Canadian border all the way down to the Gulf Coast, a classic clash between winter and spring. It's leading to severe weather. Active tornado warning near New Orleans, west side of Lake Pontchartrain. The tornado watch was just extended until 1 in the morning. The threat goes from Louisiana to Mississippi into Alabama. Part of that massive storm, it's wind alerts across about a third of the country and blizzard warnings across parts of the Midwest into tonight. Let's time it. It'll move across Alabama, Georgia, Florida Panhandle tonight. And then that storm will start to reach the mid-Atlantic and the East Coast as we go through the morning hours tomorrow. That's an enhanced threat for damaging winds all the way from Charleston up to Norfolk, even severe weather up to D.C. Then later tomorrow, it's a squall line, Philly to New York City, all the way to New England late in the day. It could be a nasty evening commute in the Northeast. David?
Lee Goldberg with us tonight as well. Lee, thank you. Next tonight here, 30 officers are facing charges for allegedly staging so-called gladiator fights among juvenile detainees. Tonight, you'll see the stunning video right here. Prosecutors accusing them of organizing fights involving 143 teenagers. Here's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, 30 Los Angeles County detention officers charged for allegedly facilitating these so-called gladiator fights between juvenile detainees. This video capturing multiple fights at the center of the case.
Watching the video, the officers look more like referees or audience members at a prize fight, not adults charged with the care and supervision of young people.
One officer even seen on video shaking the hands of one of the juveniles after a brawl. The Attorney General says from June to December of 2023, there were 69 fights involving 143 teenagers, the youngest just 12 years old. The officers now facing charges ranging from child abuse and battery to conspiracy. According to court documents, in one day, the officers allowed 9 one-on-one fights to occur, claiming 2 of the officers told new detention services officers that they were not to say anything and just watch when fights occurred.
The officers don't step in, don't intervene, and don't protect their charges.
And the LA County Parole Department says all current staff who have been charged are now on leave without pay, David.
Trevor Alt tonight. Trevor, thank you. This evening, our team on the scene during an immigration raid in Virginia. Our Rachel Scott there as agents moved in from ICE, the FBI, and other agencies making arrests. Of course, a key issue that will come up tonight during the president's speech. Here's Rachel.
Tonight, the president preparing to tout his signature promise, the largest deportation effort in American history. And well before dawn, we were on the front lines.
We want to be rolling by 0345.
The administration says they are going after the worst first. They tell us their target here in Northern Virginia, a Guatemalan man in the country illegally with a criminal record.
Almost 4 a.m. and we are now rolling. ICE agents say the subject of the investigation today, a known member of the 18th Street gang.
We are there as heavily armed agents, guns drawn, use flashbangs to get inside. Leading the suspect out in cuffs, loading him into a waiting patrol car. Authorities say they've arrested more than 20,000 people since Trump took office. ICE and Border Patrol say more than 43,000 are held in detention. But amid this push, thorny questions emerge, as we see on the second raid of the morning.
Multiple agencies on the ground right now. The FBI, the DEA, the ATF. You can see the agents inside right now.
Armed agents seen through a window making another arrest.
Well, this target here was wanted for sexual assault and for battery, multiple re-entries into the country.
But also in the home, his 2 American children, and his brother, who authorities say is also undocumented, but has no known criminal record. That brother could now be deported too. We asked Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem what happens to the children.
There is that likelihood that these families could be separated.
There is consequences, and we're giving him time to leave these children with someone else.
The Department of Homeland Security says they handle these situations involving children on a case-by-case basis. Today, Border Czar Tom Homan telling me the administration is looking to what he calls family residential centers as an option to keep families together, David.
Rachel Scott tonight. Rachel, thank you. When we come back here, the woman attacked by an alligator while kayaking. Also news tonight on the death of Gene Hackman and his wife. And Dolly Parton tonight on the death of her husband of 60 years, Carl Dean, in a moment. Tonight, a kayaker is recovering from an alligator attack in Polk County, Florida. Authorities say she was bit on the elbow while paddling near the Tiger Creek Canal, the alligator tearing off another kayaker's life jacket. The victim has been airlifted to a hospital. Tonight, the investigation into the deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife in Santa Fe. Authorities now say the gas company did find a minuscule, non-lethal gas leak coming from the kitchen stove. They believe not enough to have caused their deaths. When we come back here, the measles cases in New York City now, and Dolly Parton on her husband. To the index of other news, the CDC on the ground tonight for this measles outbreak in West Texas. 13 new cases since Friday, 159 cases now in all. And in New York City tonight, the city reporting its second unrelated case of measles so far this year. In Big Bear, California, 2 eagles named Jackie and Shadow are going to need a bigger nest. 2 of their eaglets have finally hatched. The first one popping out on the live nest cam with a devoted following. And right as KABC was checking in, the second eaglet hatched overnight. A third may be on the way. When we come back here tonight, Dolly Parton on the loss of her husband.
ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, sponsored by the Farmer's Dog, fresh, real food for dogs.
Finally tonight here, Dolly Parton revealing her husband of more than 6 decades, Carl Dean, has died. He didn't love the spotlight, but he loved her.
Dolly Parton and her husband, Carl Dean, were married for nearly 60 years. They met at the Wishy Washy Laundromat the same day Dolly moved to Nashville, Tennessee in 1964. Dolly was 18 and Carl 21. Dolly telling our Robin Roberts how their love story began.
The very day I go down to the laundromat, this good-looking man just drives by, and he says something like, well, why are you going to get sunburned out here? And I say something stupid like, well, what's it to you? We start talking, and 2 years later we married, and we're still married, and that was that.
You just go walking in with your dirty clothes, and you walk out with...
Carl Dean.
Dolly would become a worldwide superstar, but Carl always preferred life out of the spotlight, quietly her biggest supporter, inspiring some of her most iconic songs.
Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man.
Dolly has often said that she wrote Jolene partly about a bank teller who she thought had a crush on her Carl.
You could have your choice of men, but I could never love again. He's the only one for me, Jolene.
She got this terrible crush on my husband,
And he just loved going to the bank because she paid him so much attention. It was kind of like a running joke between us.
We learned last night that Carl Dean passed away at the age of 82 in Nashville. Dolly writing, "Carl and I spent many wonderful years together. Words can't do justice to the love we shared for over 60 years."
Thank you.
We're thinking about Dolly tonight. I'll see you at 9 p.m. Eastern for the President's address. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir America's most watched newscast.